Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Blacklogic. So the political landscape of the U.S. is buzzing with different developments that deserve our undivided attention. Today, we'll cover some of the most shocking and eye-opening news stories you might not hear on mainstream media platforms. So let's get right into it. Trade tensions between the U.S. and China have escalated, with China banning the export of key high-tech materials to the U.S. in retaliation for expanded American export controls targeting Chinese tech companies. President-elect Trump's threats of increased tariffs further strain relations, potentially impacting global markets and technological supply chains. The U.S. stock markets are experiencing minimal movement following record highs in the technology sector. Investors are closely monitoring upcoming job reports, which could influence Federal Reserve decisions on interest rates. Additionally, corporate developments such as Tesla's legal challenges and U.S. steel stock decline amid political opposition to foreign acquisitions are under scrutiny. Now, here are some of the things that the stock market has already opened that you guys should definitely be looking at. The U.S. stock futures flat after S&P 500. NASDAQ hit all-time highs. U.S. stock still stumbles after Trump again promises to block Nippon deal. BlackRock to acquire HPS Investment Partners for $12 billion in stock. Salesforce to report Q3 earnings after bail. Judge again strikes down Tesla CEO Musk's pay package. It states that the decision upholds an earlier ruling invalidating the package, which was valued above $50 billion. The decision was followed in June by a shareholder vote to approve the pay package. The court decision is wrong and we're going to appeal, Tesla said on X, the social platform owned by Musk. Tesla shares are down less than 1% in pre-market. In other news, the following electoral defeats, the Democratic Party faced internal debates about its future direction. The loss of the White House and Congress to Republican control has prompted calls for strategic reassessment, with some blaming leadership decisions and others pointing to external factors like economic turmoil and natural disasters. The party's path forward remains a subject of intense discussion. In California, political dynamics are changing as the state braces for potential federal challenges under the incoming administration. Governor Gavin Newsom plans to convene a legislative session to protect state policies, particularly environmental regulations from federal threats. Meanwhile, local elections indicate a shift towards security-focused policies, with significant support for measures increasing penalties for petty crimes and drug offenses. Now, I know you guys are aware of this story that Donald Trump jokingly talked about Canada becoming the 51st state. Now, Donald Trump recently made waves at a closed-door fundraiser when he jokingly suggested that Canada could avoid future U.S. tariffs by simply becoming the 51st state. While it may have been a joke, the comment underscores economic tension between the two countries as Trump continues to advocate for America First trade policies. Canadian leaders were quick to dismiss the remark, but this highlights a growing divide in the U.S.-Canada relations. Now, this is true. If Canada becomes the 51st state of America, they can definitely avoid tariffs. Now, was Donald Trump joking? Let's just say this. There's been a lot of wars and conflicts and trade wars and tariffs that started with a joke. So some of these things can become reality. Not stating that Canada will ever succeed to become a state of the United States of America, but was Donald Trump truly joking, or was he hinting at something larger? That question is for you. In a surprising turn, Ukraine's leadership has signaled a willingness to negotiate compromises with Russia to end the ongoing war. President Zelensky acknowledged the toll the prolonged conflict has taken on his nation and hinted at a potential agreement involving territorial concessions in exchange for peace. The international community is watching closely as the development could significantly shift geopolitical dynamics. One of the thoughts I had here is that Hunter Biden got his pardon from his father, Joe Biden. And with that, Hunter Biden was doing a lot of dealings back in 2014 to 2016 timeframe with Ukrainian businessmen that the accusation stated that some of these dealings were illegal. I wonder if Donald Trump will only assist Ukraine in this compromise, will only assist Ukraine in ending the war if President Zelensky actually offers up the insight and information that the United States government has been asking for quite some time. Now, the reason why this was never bargained before is because Joe Biden has been the president and these accusations were against his son. So why would he ever ask Zelensky to offer up the businessmen, let alone the information and intel that will further implement his son? Now, if Joe Biden knew about these dealings, which he stated he didn't, then look out for Joe Biden to pardon himself of any alleged crimes or accusations. And the other question would be, can presidents pardon themselves? I believe they can. I think they can pardon essentially anyone. The financial toll of illegal immigration on the U.S. is staggering. Recent estimates show that the country has spent upwards of $70 billion on services for illegal immigrants this year alone. Meanwhile, only $3 billion has been allocated to support homeless veterans. This glaring disparity has sparked outrage among many Americans who argue that the resources should prioritize those who serve their country. Absolutely. I'm a military veteran of 20 plus years, and unfortunately, there are hundreds of thousands of U.S. vets on the streets today. And we have over $70 billion going to illegal immigration, where we only have $3 billion going to homeless veterans. And most of that $3 billion are for temporary shelters as soup kitchens that's on a block. These homeless veterans need our support. The best support that the U.S. government can give is flip the funding from illegal immigration to homeless veterans. So $70 billion to homeless veterans and $3 billion to illegal immigration. Let's see where that lands you at. This next story, Roger Goloski, a former Kansas City police captain, committed the S word at age 71 while facing 6 felony charges related to sexual assault. Gillespie was accused of targeting vulnerable Black girls, some as young as 13, offering them drugs in exchange for sex. His death raises questions about accountability and justice for the survivors, many of whom have spoken out about the systematic abuse they face. Now, because of these very young teenage girls were at the age of 13, this is not just sexual assault, but this also includes the R word. We all know what I'm referring to. In a move that has sparked national outrage, the Edison, New Jersey Town Council voted to ban the display of American flags during town meetings. The council claims the decision was made to maintain neutrality and avoid political statements, but critics argue that this is a disrespectful attack on patriotism. The backlash has been swift, with some calling for the decision to be overturned immediately. Now, this is where you have to draw the line. This is the United States of America. This should never be offensive. It should never be banned of you having an American flag at town meetings, of city town meetings. You are in the most powerful, capitalistic, freest country in the entire world, where regardless of the racism, regardless of the structure of white supremacy, people from all walks of life, from all different countries, still come to America for opportunities, still come to America for freedoms that their own natural born countries do not allow. For you to ban the waving or the posting of United States flag in any meeting, in any setting in these United States, in my opinion, is anti-American, and that should be banned. You should be able to post it, wave it, wear it, whenever, however you want it to be. At church, at the cookout, at a buffet, at a rally, at a wedding, wherever you feel like wearing it, you should wear it, because there's many of soldiers, Marines, sailors, Coast Guard, Air Force, who have died in order for us to wave this flag, as well as naval men. I don't know if you guys are aware, a group of Democrats is proposing to erect a statue of President Joe Biden. I'm sorry. In front of the White House to commemorate his achievements. The suggestion has drawn criticism from both sides of the aisle. Many argue that Biden's presidency has been marred by controversies, including his recent pardon of Hunter Biden, and questioned the timing of such a move. Critics have also pointed out that the irony of honoring a president with a statue when public trust in leadership is at an all-time low. In addition to that, why in the hell would the American people on either side, Democrat or Republican, conservative or liberal, would ever approve of Joe Biden's statue being in front of the White House after the unleashed chaotic border crisis that he has infused, started, and encouraged people from all these different countries to come into America illegally, and then incentivize and support that with American tax dollars? Why in the hell would we ever approve of Joe Biden's statue in front of the White House? While veterans continue to face homelessness and lack of resources, the U.S. has spent billions in foreign aid, including over $100 billion to support Ukraine since the start of the war. This has reignited debates about how federal funds are prioritized, with many calling for a shift towards domestic issues like homelessness and healthcare. And as we look at the foreignassistance.gov, the billions of dollars of taxpayers' money and all the locations there it goes to, let's just kind of run through a couple of them to see where your tax dollars are being spent at. Is it being spent on the homeless veterans? Is it being spent on the crumbling infrastructure of America? Is it being spent on high-speed rail? Is it being spent on crime? Is it being spent on law enforcement? Is it being spent on healthcare? No. Microeconomic support for Ukraine in the amount of $5.8 billion. Stabilization, operation, and security sector reform for Israel, $3.3 billion. The war on HIV and AIDS, $2.1 billion. Again, another microeconomic foundation, Ukraine, $1.7 billion. And the list goes on and on. If you guys are ever interested in the way that America spends your tax dollars overseas, this is a great website for you guys to visit. And this is foreignassistance.gov. Now, some other shocking news. Federal Reserve signals more rate hikes. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell hinted at potential interest rate hikes in early 2025, citing inflation concerns. This could affect housing affordability and economic stability. So we know right off the bat that the American economy is still very unstable. Yesterday, I reported that inflation rates may drop, and today I'm reporting that inflation rates may rise. It depends on the legislative policies when Donald Trump gets into office, and the business and economic moves that he make will be an indicator of how the economy will respond and how inflation will rise or fall. California's homeless crisis, despite spending over $20 billion in state funds, California's homelessness problem has worsened, with San Francisco seeing a 15% increase in unsheltered individuals. Tech giants like Amazon and Meta announced another round of layoffs, citing economic uncertainty. Over 100,000 jobs have been cut in the tech sector this year alone. Today, news paints a picture of a country grappling with a range of issues, from political controversies and economic challenges to social justice matters. The disparities in resources allocation, the erosion of public trust, and the glaring examples of systematic failures demand attention and action. Stay informed, stay critical, and don't shy away from asking the tough questions. So drop your thoughts in the comments below. Please like and share and subscribe to this channel for updated news and a bunch of news story that mainstream media really won't even talk about. Have a great and wonderful morning.